Welcome back. Yes, we turn attention to the People's Democratic Party. As you see, we've got two gentlemen joining us here today. Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf. He's a member of the House of Reps, but now a senatorial candidate of APC Kogi West.
PDP.
I beg your pardon, PDP. What's going on? Who's writing this? It's PDP Kogi West. That's what I indicated. Oladimeji Fabi is a member of the PDP. Can't get that wrong. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on this morning. Well. Haven't seen the way the APC primary is gone. I know that when the PDP held their primary and had the flag bearer, the APC had an eye on that, and so they thought, okay, we need to do something in response to this. Now, they've had theirs, and then PDP also keeping watch because the flag bearer did make some comments about the PDP. What do you think, Honorable Yusuf?
The emergence of the APC candidate?
Yes.
Welcome development. It's expected.
Your party concerned?
Anybody contesting the election will never underestimate any opponent. If you are indeed a worthy politician, you do that at your peril. So, natural. Wilkerson is a very, very, very sound politician with a lot of pedigree. However, we have what it takes.
Were you worried about, because I know that I was listening to the acceptance speech of the APC flag bearer yesterday, and he talked about how people thought they were not going to make it as a party, especially when you look at the events leading up to his emergence and even the events leading up to the party's primaries in general. Were you concerned? I don't know why you should be concerned, though. I'm sure you'd have been praying for them to scatter. But, I mean, I'm sure you must have been watching with keen interest, and you're wondering as well if they were going to make it. What were your thoughts when eventually the primaries came and they decided to go into open secret ballot?
Thank you, Mark. But first, this is all, everything is about, it's all politics, and then just like Honorable TJ said, you don't underrate either a party or anybody who's winning an election. The APC understood what was at stake, and they knew if they delayed further or they didn't get it right, the consequences may be so there, So they had to do something about it, and that was the outcome you saw.
You could see that already.
We knew they would come together. They would find a way around it. A lot of things played out, and then, well, congratulations to them. They were able to at least come up with something. So what happens after that is what we're looking.
What is at stake? Tell us from the perspective of politicians. What is at stake? Because sometimes what you think is at stake might not be what the people see.
But this is very glaring. We have timelines for our elections. They have to grapple with that. They have to meet the timelines. That's a huge thing, because if anything just come and they couldn't meet up with that, it's a big problem for them, regardless of whether they are the ruling party or not. You can see that in the build up to that, they've shifted goalposts on so many occasions. Even INEC
had to shift for them.
Had to shift for them. So these are issues.
Okay, well, because it was IPAC. Everybody thought, well, IPAC made the request.
Forget about all those things. It's the normal way, the ruling party always. We saw that. We saw how they were trying to, maneuver things, but Nigerians are there shouting on them, we're waiting, and they know what's at stake, like I said.
Does your party have any such thing as the Southeast concern?
Every party should have the Southeast concern. An attempt to make it look unimportant would be to attempt to enforce the peace of the graveyard, where you just have people are quiet, but they are bottled anger. So every party has it. We have a responsibility as a nation to deliberately integrate or encourage or bring to for any agitation before it becomes something new we cannot manage. The Southeast rightly feel that they should take a shot. But however, power is not given. It has a process to power. So, as much as I agree with the Southeast, there's a responsibility on the political leadership of the Southeast to deliberately become more engaging. I'm privileged to have a background of student journalism, but we have what we call the 3 C's those days when we're doing Aluta. It's a consultation, consolidation before confrontation. So there is a process. That
Even though
must be.
sometimes the confrontation comes before some of these other.
That's what people assume. People assume that youth, I don't know, I'm not be part of the movement now, but in my own time, we do a lot of that. It is natural that when you go as a young man to the platform to speak, the students are agitated, they want you to do, but before we go to that platform, I've done a lot of things. So let me not digress too much. I'm just saying that the South has a genuine, reason to be concerned. And as a nation, we have a genuine reason to deliberately find a way out of it. What happened in 1999 was an offshoot of the crisis that emanated from the June 12 election. That's when you had the two major parties at that time, had two Southwest candidates, Lufayelai and Olusegun Obasanjo. It was deliberate so as to calm the nerves in Southwest. So the Southeast need to go strategize and come again.
So how's your party handling that now? Managing the outcome, the fallout of the emergence of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar?
So let me tell you, the first thing is the PDP and even the candidate of our party recognize the fact that the agitations of the Southeast are genuine, and as a result of lots of injustices that have been done to the zone, that is the starting point. Recognizing that, and then we felt, the PDP idea is to bring everybody on board, and then a lot of consultation work, of course, have started, going on. If you remember, Southeast, it's for PDP all along, because before we started having all this incursion by other parties, and it will come back to PDP. That's why the consultations among the stakeholders, even the religious leaders, the opinion leaders, have even commenced in earnest. I remember during the consultation of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, I was a member of the technical committee that went around, and we had robust conversation with all these guys. And at that time, a lot of them were not coming out because they're not sure of what the youths of the zone, will do. But all that has been taken care of now. Just like Honorable TJ said, see, it's a genuine concern. And everybody, whether from the PDP or from the APC, must be able to address that agitation. It's genuine. So most of the injustices that have been established have to be taken, and that's why I'm happy that PDP has a candidate who is a non-unifier, who everybody knows his relationship with every region of the country. You can see that when he came, his emergence received a lot of acceptance, and then from the people across the country. So we're good with that. Yes.
All right, we'll come back in just a moment. We need to go to a break, but don't go away, because we'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, Honorable Yusuf, what is going on with the consultation regarding the number 2 slot of your party?
The number 2 slot consultation is ongoing across board. The candidate has his team working for him. The party set up a team about 3 days ago, I guess. It is extremely of importance that we get it right. And I know that the candidate understands he's a veteran. And I doubt if you have this kind of opportunity again. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. So he has a responsibility to really, really, really sit down, take away emotions, and practically look at it. What is this man bringing to the table? With somebody who can add value to that ticket. So I know that is ongoing. I know we have arrays of them in PDP. It's naturally going to come from the South. That is it. So it's ongoing. I'm aware that there are consultations going on.
Will religion play a role?
Definitely. Definitely. We are not ripe for such attempt. Yeah, it happened in 1993. And you do not take those exceptions as a rule. So I still think it's of necessity. Going back a bit, digressing a bit over the Southeast. Unfortunately, the present regime or the present president contributed immensely to the agitation getting to this level. When you have been privileged, I've done 3 elections. everybody cannot like you. Even in your family, everybody cannot vote for you. So it's your responsibility by your demeanor, your action, to deliberately tell them that, oh, you can trust me. The president's body language, utterances at the beginning did not help. So how can you be first foreign trip, or I can't know if it's not the first, but the American trip he made first. He had 95%, 5%, and what have you. Hey, you don't know the damage such will do to somebody watching in those areas. So we need, by the grace of God, a president who his appearance, his demeanor is seen as, hey, I can be true, it can accommodate me. If I'm not even there, can I tell you something? The day we get leaders who have those tendencies and exhibit them, we won't be bothered about where you come from, where you don't come from. It's the fact that we come to as of now.
Because we did it before. In 1993, nobody cared about any of this. People were so excited about the process. They wanted their voices heard.
Thank you.
And so when that didn't happen, so people just gradually just sipped away.
It's like we travel about 50 kilometers and we are back 100 kilometers.
In addition to your response, let me add this question. You know, those watching, they may think, well, yeah, the APC, PDP, two separate parties. But these two flag bearers are friends. They've been friends for a long time. How do Nigerians now deal or relate to this kind of scenario?
They may be friends for a long time. They have their different personalities, and the perception of Nigerians about, towards each other, any one of them is different. So Atiku there's a way Nigerians see Atiku, there's a way Nigerians see the other guy. And a lot of them are friends. Even Peter Obi they are friends. So largely what I feel is that everything must be about Nigeria, must be about the future of this country.
How do we know they won't strike a deal among themselves, have that handshake behind the scenes? Whoever wins, look, this is what we'll do. Yeah, we'll contest, but at the end of the day, you know how these things happen.
No. Let me tell you something. The fact that they are friends, all right, does not mean that when it comes to the issue of Nigeria, they can't take a stand. For instance, our candidate in the PDP has his position on Nigeria and what he wants to do, what he hopes to do for Nigeria. And I believe the other guys too, not just Ashiwaju, but every other, individuals who have come up to say, I want to be president, have their position about Nigeria. They must be able to go through that. Like I said, it's about this country. It's not really about these guys. And I just hope they'll be able to stay through to that and make Nigeria their first priority.
I put that question because, it's going to be one of the longest campaign period.
Yes.
And so the supporters out there need to be wise. They need to remember, first and foremost, they are friends, and they know how they sort themselves out behind the scenes. So I think, hopefully, we should be hopeful, at least, to say the least, that maybe the way politicking goes this time around may just be different. Do you both see that being different from the last
Chimbali, you know what I'm looking out for in all of this? Whether they are friends or not, it doesn't really matter to me. It's about them coming to discuss issues that has to do with this country.
Healthy campaign.
Healthy campaign, not all this unhealthy rivalry. You can't run away from it. But let them just come up and discuss issues that has to do with Nigeria, and then how they want to address those issues. That is my take for them. And then I'm happy. You can see the way PDP has been going about its issues, and even my candidate. It has always been about issues. Even before we went to the primaries, Atiku wrote out his policy plans, the unity seeds and all that. These are the things that are affecting this country, and people want to hear how you want to address them. So for me, it's okay. We'll wait to see what the other guys are coming up.
Honorable Yusuf, you've been in politics, and you still are. Does the narrative as to what your plans, your policy, your program, what you want to do, if it's better than your opponent, does it play a role in how leaders emerge and how politicians and Nigerians vote for such people? If we have debates, for instance.
Yes, but not to the degree I would love it to. Yes, there are still people who vote based on those convictions. There are people who...
Are they significant?
One vote is significant. My first election, I won with 3 votes. My primary election.
3?
That's 3. Yes. I won 3 votes. So that will tell you that...
You never forget the very first one, do you?
I don't. So by implication, every segment, every opinion counts, but not to the degree that it is enough to shape our politics. So I agree with you that we need to do something first. I might be moralizing here, and people will say, it's just to do with the family. It's just what is a value system. I grew up knowing that I got to control money to buy football. I dare not take it home. Where did you get the money? So our parents asking those questions again. Any scars you find on me, I was beaten at home for doing wrong. I do have such again. If you walk on the street in your neighborhood and you do wrong, any adult has a right to correct you. Do you have such again? So how do we expect the society or the politics to be different from the reflection of our value system? So that is the situation where we find ourselves. We have a responsibility to deliberately, I don't know how it will happen, but we must deliberately slow down this anyhow, just get it. So if you get it anyhow, then you do it anyhow.
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah, you do it anyhow. So when Nigerians are talking about when people get to power, he's not doing this. Hey, what do you have a leadership recruitment process? Do we have? Do you have things that check? Oh, TJ, in 1820, this is what he did. He has tendency of behaving this way. Can we sieve him out? Do you have such? No. So it just, hey, how do we just emerge? We have a response as a nation. I pray. I'm sorry. It's as if I'm going to hit this government. This government came on the pedestal of those narrative, and they gave an impression that we are coming to do this. And I'm sorry, by privilege, it has not been this bad. We have never been this divided. The corruption is, in fact, it used to be that you award contracts and they steal money via over bloated contractors. No, they just take from the source now. They don't do. So we seriously, we are the lowest as a young man I've ever seen. So we have a responsibility to deliberately ask the right question, ask the right question from our leaders. And I pray that, I'm sorry that I'm saying praying, because rhetorics, anybody that is looking for position will tell you good things. But I would take the time to look at his yesterday, when he's not aspiring, what he's saying now, does that have correlation with what he said yesterday? Do you have the patience? Do you read? Do you check their background? We don't. So, however, this party has been in government for 7 years now. So before now, they were telling us this is what we will do. We'll do better than PDP. We'll correct this. They've been there now for 7 years. So Nigerians can look at both parties. Can now, we'll give you opportunity. We can see that you're even worse than what we had before. So that's what I'm telling people. I don't envy Asuaju, but I don't know what he's going to campaign with. I don't know what he's going to tell Nigerians why we should continue on the trajectory.
He's mentioned some of them yesterday.
Very simple. I will play back what he told us in 2014. The way what he told us PDP did wrong. We have the videos. We have everything. What he told us we did wrong. What they are going to do. No, not just oppose. I'm sure Nigerians will be able to differentiate between both parties. Forget that you mentioned being friends. Being friends is not a bad thing. It's about to understand that we would play politics of issues, because of ideas, and if they can show that comradeship, you should cascade down for supporters not to go into arms. There's no politics that is won by taking arms against yourself. There's never been a good war, a bad peace. So why don't you just sit down and judge her? Tell me why your candidate is better than mine. Why must we go into? I pray we don't go into such things. I don't have this kind of bloodletting that happened in 2011 when we lost how many coppers in Bauchi, youth coppers who went to serve and, volunteered for our election, and they end up losing their life.
Now, well, it's good to see you again. So you said that what will the APC campaign with? I'm wondering, for your party as well, what will the PDP campaign with?
What do people campaign with? The people campaign with what we did before APC come into power.
But that's why the PDP was voted out. Honorable.
We were told, we were voted out, yes, because Nigerians were convinced by the propaganda of the APC that they will do better. It is natural that a man will naturally seek greener pasture if he is offered such opportunity. But when you go, there's a saying in Yoruba, say until you marry another husband, you won't know the value of your first husband. I want to give you an example. Where we are now, the price of diesel is 800 naira per liter. Do you know that most small-scale industry, even big-time industries, run on generator? You know the ripple effect of such on the economy? How much is $1 to naira? The component of most things you use in production comes in from abroad. And remember, I said earlier on, I'll just pick the videos of 2014 and 2015 and play it.
No,
just like what happened in the
Honorable, I want us to be practical here because Nigerians, of course, are listening. They're hoping to make their decisions perhaps based off this conversation and future conversations as well. So are you saying that your party will tell Nigerians that, well, if you vote us in, we can take diesel back to the price it was pre-2015? Are you saying that we'll take the naira back to what it was?
And cheap.
No, you're saying that how much was diesel? I mean, we know gas prices even in the US is soaring now. People are even switching to electric vehicles because they can't really afford petrol, as it were. So what exactly, again, I say, would your party campaign with? Because it sounds as though you're saying you tell Nigerians, choose a lesser evil.
No. I'm not telling Nigerians to choose a lesser evil. PDP is far, 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 far. Okay, let me give you a simple example. Both parties, ruling party and the PDP were planning for convention. INEC gave a timeline. As a party that understands democratic ethics and value and time, PDP met the timeline. But on a date of PDP's primary, around 11 p.m., INEC had to extend the timetable. Until the timetable was extended, APC had not done screening for our presidential aspirants. What am I trying to tell you? It shows you how ill-prepared APC is for governance. You do not just walk into power. You deliberately prepare and look at issues and what you can do when you get to power. PDP is and remain the only party in this country that does not just hunger for power. We deliberately plan. And look at, my friend just told you here, our candidates before the primaries came out with his policy agendas to Nigerians, so we can debate it. And I can even use the present governors of both parties to explain this. I can tell you, it's an open secret. Who among APC governors will match people like Wiki in terms of project and the president? Look at what is happening in Oyo. So let me tell you something. The manifesto of the party is good, but the process by which you chose your candidate matters a lot. If you, as a party, jettison certain values and anything can happen, you naturally raise men who do not believe in those values.
Honorable, don't forget.
Have a pedigree of.
Pardon me. Don't forget that Governor Wike actually spoke about that process, saying, well, he didn't think things went quite well. Saying, why would you allow someone who had already spoken to come back to speak again? That literally just messed up the whole system. In fact, for him, he said, your party should have, stuck to the rules of the whole process. So even with the process that brought up your candidate, there are still questions. But there was something I wanted to follow up on earlier on, where you said that, under this government, and by way of privilege, you're a member of the National Assembly, that, monies are not being stolen even by, bloating contracts and all that. It's being taken from the source. So do you have any instance where that happened?
Very simple. Consultancy is the vehicle, the farm which those things are taken out. If you follow the stories that have been going on about the governors, the Paris Club before that, what have you, you're taking a loan and consultancy is taking about 30% of the loan. How does it speak to? It is not that you're taking a loan and it's for a specific project and everything is going to the project, so we now begin to question the value, the cost of the project. Consultancy is a very, very funny and unimaginable tool in the hand of this government to pilfer. I pray we had the privilege of having another government, a PDP government, because a lot of things will be on earth. It's so unfortunate that we are not yet a nation where we have men and women who are bold enough to confront ills in government while the government is in power. Unfortunately,
it's interesting that you put it that way, because one is wondering.
Some party members,
just 1 second,
more than Nigeria.
Just 1 second, Honourable. One of the part of the things that a number of people had against your party was this same corruption issue, and forgive me, I'm gonna go to that Auditor General's reports again. Honourable, the Auditor General's report of 2012, 2013, and 2014. A sizable number of those things weren't even taking a look at all. But, maybe that's another matter for you when you get into the National Assembly. We can only wish you success in that. But let me ask, Honourable, Mr. Debi, just a second. We'll come back to that later. We'll come back to it. Let me ask Mr. Fabi, because he hasn't spoken in a while. Kade asked a question that I'd like you to also respond to. And Honourable, Yusuf has spoken to it. What, in your opinion, would the PDP be campaigning with? Why should people choose you, your party, over any other party in the coming elections?
Well, thank you very much. Before the APC came on board, they came up and said, PDP was not doing this right, they're not getting this right, they're too corrupt, their economy is bad. And let us juxtapose, the time they came in and what we have in this country now. This is not the best of time for this country, and this is widely adjudged to be so. We, the Nigerians, believe that, give an APC opportunity, to right, according to them, the wrongs that the PDP has done. But as we speak at this moment...
What we hear from you now, if you don't mind me butting in, I would have expected that what we'll be hearing now is, look, this is the way we are going to do this better. I've heard the two of you talk about the fact that, APC did this, APC didn't do that. Can you just speak to why you are the better party?
Just hold on. Just give me a time, right? Let me tell you something. From the selection of the man that will be at the driver's seat, and Atiku Abubakar, his pedigree, his antecedent, that is the first thing you have to look at. And that is to tell you that PDP is coming up with something new. Go into his policy document, go into the party manifestos, you will see what we are talking about. Now we have issue of insecurity, we have biting economic issues. We have to grapple with the unity of this country. This country has been so divided. These are the things we are bringing on board. There are other constitutional issues like devolution of powers, where each of the regions will develop at their own pace. These are the things we are bringing on board. Look at the education system. These are the things we are bringing on board. And Atiku is very clear about what he would want to, and PDP are clear about what they want to do about it. There are challenges of security, there are challenges, economic challenges, and these are the things we are bringing on board. And I can bet you Atiku is ready to do this. PDP is ready to go all the way to correct the anomalies and the failures of the current leadership of the country. You will give it. You will never take it away that the APC has done so badly, and then nobody in his right senses would wish this continue. Nobody. Okay. APC has done so badly. Okay. So PDP is coming to correct all these anomalies. Okay. That's what we're coming to do.
All right. Well, one of the issues that a sizable number of people have consistently talked about, is that of corruption. And Honourable Yusuf, you wanted to respond to the issue I raised the other time about the fight against corruption under the PDP and under the APC. I mean, we raised the issue the other time, and you said you would like to respond to it. I just wanted to hear Mr. Fabi's voice for a little bit. That Auditor General's report, a number of people believe, is a very strong instrument to fight corruption. But it would seem like no government, neither the PDP government nor the APC government, has seen that instrument as a veritable tool for fighting corruption.
Auditor General's report those who crafted the Constitution and created that office is deliberate. It was deliberate because they know that there are lapses and areas that would not be seen by the ordinary eye. So that report, most time, do not come immediately after that year. 2012 report came about 2015 or 2016. It takes time for those reports to come out. However, when their action taken might not be in the public, but I do not have facts about what was done. And I'm not in any way sitting here to say PDP government was corruption-free. But within the party, there were those who were ready to challenge those tendencies when PDP was in power. I tell people that as a PDP member in the House of Reps, I was one of those who stand on the floor in spite and despite of being a PDP member to say one or two things are not doing done well. But what we have now is that everybody kowtow to party line. You dare not, in secret, by the backside, APC members will tell you, we know this is bad. But on the floor, they will fight with their blood to defend it. So I'm saying that we have taken this tokeism and unnecessary, for lack of a better word, ego worshipping too far, so much that nobody can speak truth to power. So I am saying that the difference between PDP and APC fundamentally is that you have a right to express your opinion more in PDP. There is this liberality that is in the air, that you know that you can challenge certain position without fear of anything happening to you. But if you look at this National Assembly election, you dare not come against the almighty position of the party in APC. But in PDP period, go and rewind back. Members will say, oh, this is the way we want to go, we want to choose our leaders. So that's what I'm saying. I say, for liberty to be stiffened, you naturally gag the voice of the people. And the moment nobody can speak, even at this level, those who should be able to speak at my level cannot speak, you are in trouble. So that is why the corruption index to me of this government has got to this so high, because you don't have no institution that has the capacity and to check those tendencies. And when you check, when the public make noise, I don't want to mention names, you see them being integrated back. They are taking out for 2-3 months and they are back to power.
We need to wind down now, gentlemen. So, Demeju, what happened if the APC was able to vote out the sitting government at the time? What makes parties now think that Nigerians cannot vote out both the APC and the PDP and bring in a different party altogether?
That is the beauty of democracy. Nigerians have the right. They reserve the right to do that.
Because they say they're tired of both APC and PDP.
But I don't think they are tired of the PDP. I don't think they are tired of the PDP. Go around the country. Go around the country. Go around the country. See, all these people you're talking about, these new parties that are coming, go out there and feel the pulse of the people.
You know what?
These guys are not even. They don't even know. They can't even trust them.
What really are these parties? I mean, because you have to ask, what the parties are about. Your candidate and flag bearer now has been to, quite a number of parties. He's been in this, even the APC, which you're about to criticize. He contested the primaries in 2015. He didn't win. He was there for a while before he went to the PDP. Before that time, he had tried to run on the ACN. He tried to run, I think. He went to the ACN. I think the ticket then was given to Mr. Was it between Ribadu or himself?
It was him, no.
Yes, it was between the two of them. So that was, this is how far. It would seem that we've seen people crisscrossing these two major parties. And there are questions as to what exactly is changing ideologically for the party. Let me take yours, for instance. The PDP itself, what is changing ideologically for it? Because some people will say, yes, it was, formed as a contraption to win elections in 1999. But since then, shouldn't it have evolved to now be a party of ideology? So much so that in the states that it has controlled for a very long time now, without breaking, shouldn't we be able to see strategically and ideologically a difference between it and say the state that other parties control?
Is that for me?
Yes, for either of you willing to take it on.
First, let me tell you where Nigeria is now. I don't think the issue of somebody leaving party to another one should be the issue now. I think the issue should have been where we are now. How do we improve on where
What do you mean that shouldn't be the issue?
It shouldn't have been an issue because leaving one party to the other has never determined what you get. There are some people left the party for what they feel. Maybe they.
So what moral right would you then have?
It's not a question. It's not a question of morality here.
What moral right would
about,
you then have to criticize another party, especially if you've been there?
When a party has not done well, we tell them they've not done well. You know, the ones that have done well, we tell them they've done well. That's exactly what we're saying.
Yeah,
a party came on board and said, we are going to address the security, we are going to address corruption, and they've not even done anything. They've not even been able to achieve anything. And we have to tell them. So Nigerians have the right to choose. They will listen to both the party and the guys that will be at the driver's seat, what they want to do. These people have antecedents. I think it's about the person that is coming on board now, what he has to offer. But
you must admit that if you look at the states and the government of the states, even at the local level, should be the closest to the people.
Yes.
Are there states that you can look at and say these are the star states that we as a party can project and say, look at what we've done here. We promise that if we come to the center, we'll be able to replicate same at the center.
Of course.
I did earlier on here. I mentioned Rivers. I mentioned Oyo. I can mention Enugu.
What is ideologically different in those
First
states?
of all, Akwa Ibom.
Yes.
First of all, the engaging nature of PDP, you really find a PDP state that there's no deliberate engagement with the people. That engagement, that deliberately creates a culture of inclusiveness in the people. So the people, okay, I can have my complaint and I have my discussion and nobody is going to use it against me. Two, hardly, there might be one or two exceptions. You find a PDP state. Today I use Rivers as an example, and I use Oyo, and I'm using Enugu, I'm using Bauchi, I'm using Akwa Ibom. That you will not find, one, a deliberate policy on education to make it affordable if it's not free. Not just mouthing.
I wish we had more time. I understand that we're totally out of time. I would have taken you on, because for every state that you mentioned, I would have given you another state.
I would have loved to be
the parties will have their time to go ahead and campaign, but not on this ground, gentlemen. No, we will apologies on that one. Okay, your final word before.
My final word. I am not an apostle of changing parties. It's unfortunate that Nigerian politics has become a norm in Nigerian politics. I'm praying we'll grow out of it so that we don't set those examples. The ideologies of parties should be the motivation why you join a party. But because of the unnecessary ego trip of people in power in Nigeria, so people feel that they are stiffened out of the party. Because of the act of anger they leave. But I am praying that we'll get, deliberately, I've told myself, God, give me the grace. If it's that bad, I should walk you a non-contest election. So I want to say that parties should be vehicles deliberately crafted based on your conviction. You've chosen the apology, this is where I should be. And that's my...
Well, gentlemen, Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf, senatorial candidate of the PDP, Kogi West, as well as Dimeji Fabi, a member of the PDP. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on. Well,